You won't believe what happened next, folks. I'm telling you, by the end of this story, you're going to be on the edge of your seat, and it's a reminder that heroes don't always wear the uniforms we expect. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we uncover incredible, real-life stories just like this one, stories that restore your faith in humanity. The rain fell on the city of Cedar Falls not as a gentle shower, but as a cold, relentless drizzle that slicked the asphalt and blurred the neon signs. For Officer Maria Rodriguez, it was just another graveyard shift, the quiet, lonely hours where the world seemed to sleep, and only the desperate or the dangerous were awake. At 2 a.m., her patrol car was a solitary island of light in the vast, dark parking lot of the quick-fill gas station on the city's edge. She was parked around back, near the dumpsters, finishing up a report on a minor fender bender. To the world, Maria was a culpa strong, capable, her badge a shield, but underneath the Kevlar vest was a young woman who still sent money home to her mother every month, who worried about her little brother's grades, and who dreamed of one day becoming a K-9 unit handler. Her radio crackled with the mundane static of a quiet night. She never heard the footsteps. The first blow was a stunning impact to the back of her head, a flash of white-hot pain that stole her vision and her breath. She was ripped from her cruiser, the door swinging wide, and thrown to the wet, oily pavement. Three men, their faces obscured by hoods and raw, unfiltered malice, surrounded her. They weren't there for her wallet, they were there for revenge. One of them, a wiry man with the spiderweb tattoo on his neck, was the brother of a small-time dealer she'd arrested just last week. "Think you can lock up my brother, Buddha?" he snarled, his voice a guttural threat lost in the pounding rain. "Let's see how tough you are without your badge." The world became a vortex of pain and fear. Kicks landed in her ribs. A boot stomped on her hand, crushing her fingers against the concrete. She tried to reach her sidearm, but a kick to her stomach stole the air from her lungs, leaving her gasping, drowning on the asphalt. Her radio, her lifeline, was just out of reach inside the car. The rain mixed with the blood trickling from her lip, and in that moment, Maria wasn't a cop anymore. She was just a person, terrifyingly alone, facing a darkness she had sworn to fight. She closed her eyes, a silent prayer on her lips, bracing for the final, irrevocable blow. The roar wasn't from a police siren. It was a deeper, more primal sound, the thunder of Harley-Davidson engines, a rolling crescendo that cut through the rain and the violence. Two motorcycles, then three, then five, materialized from the alleyway, their headlights cutting beams through the gloom, illuminating the horrific scene. The lead bike, a massive electroglide, skidded to a halt just feet away. The men assaulting Maria froze, their brutality interrupted by this new, unexpected threat. The man who dismounted from the lead bike was a mountain of leather and denim. His cut-off jacket, his cut, bore the infamous winged death's head of the Hells Angels. His name was Grizzly, a road name earned long ago, and his beard was a thick, grizzled mane. He didn't say a word at first. His eyes, pale blue and shockingly clear, scanned the scene, the open patrol car, the lone female officer curled on the ground, the three cowards standing over her. The look on his face wasn't one of anger, it was one of cold, terrifying judgment. Spiderweb tattoo, emboldened by his pack, puffed out his chest. "This ain't your business, old man. Walk away. This is between us and the pig." Grizzly took a single step forward, the rain beating on his leather vest. His voice, when it came, was low and gravelly, barely a whisper, yet it carried over the idling engines. "You see that patch?" he said, pointing a thick finger at the Hells Angels rocker on his back. "You know what that means? It means we are a brotherhood. We have code." He then pointed at Maria, who was struggling to push herself up, her body screaming in protest. "She has a code, too. She wears a badge. You have no code. You're just vermin." What happened next was both unthinkable and, in its own brutal way, poetic. Grizzly gave a single, almost imperceptible nod. His brothers, 5 other large, weathered men who looked like they'd walked out of a nightmare, moved with a chilling, coordinated efficiency. They didn't pull knives or guns. They didn't need to. They surrounded the 3 thugs, and with the practiced precision of men who had settled disputes their own way for decades, They administered a swift and devastating lesson. It wasn't a brawl, it was a correction. The sound of fists meeting flesh, grunts of pain, and the sickening thud of bodies hitting the wet ground replaced the earlier violence. In less than a minute, the three attackers were subdued, lying broken and moaning on the pavement, their own cruelty returned upon them tenfold. While his brothers stood guard over the thugs, Grizzly walked over to Maria. He knelt down, his large frame blocking the rain. His demeanor had completely changed. The cold judge was gone, replaced by a surprising gentleness. "Easy, officer," he rumbled. "You're safe now." He pulled a surprisingly clean bandana from his pocket and gently pressed it against the cut on her head. One of his men, a quiet giant called Doc, retrieved her radio from the car and, in a calm, clear voice, called in the officer down and requested an ambulance and backup. As they waited, Maria, her voice trembling, looked up at Grizzly. "Why? Why would you?" Grizzly looked down at her, his blue eyes holding a universe of stories she would never know. "My daughter," he said simply. "She's a cop in Phoenix. Somewhere out there. I hope if she's ever in a dark place, someone, anyone, has her back. A code doesn't stop at a patch or a badge. It's in here." He tapped a heavy, ring-adorned finger over his heart. When the sirens finally wailed in the distance, the Hells Angels mounted their bikes. Grizzly gave Maria one last, firm nod. "You're tough, kid. You'll be all right." And as the first patrol cars screeched into the lot, their lights painting the scene in flashes of red and blue, the rumble of the Harleys faded back into the night, leaving behind only the rain, the subdued criminals, and a profoundly rescued police officer. The official report called them unidentified civilian interveners. Maria knew better. The story made the rounds, a modern-day folktale of an unlikely rescue. Maria recovered, her body healing, but her spirit forever marked by that night. She never saw Grizzly or his brothers again, but she carried the lesson with her onto the force, a reminder that goodness and honor can be found in the most unexpected places. So, what's the message here? It's that in a world that often feels divided, where we're quick to judge based on appearances, there is a common thread of humanity that binds us. It's about having a code, looking out for one another, and understanding that sometimes, the cavalry doesn't always arrive in a marked car. If this story moved you, if it made you think, then do us a favor or hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful stories that prove that even on the darkest, rainiest nights, a little light can shine through from the most unthinkable places. Thanks for watching.